Hi everyone, my name is Hannah Clark, and today I'm going to walk you through a case study on decision making in organizations, specifically focusing on inventory management at Highland Pines Campground. I work there as a front desk agent, and one of the things I noticed was how operational decisions, like keeping supplies in stock, really affected both efficiency and guest satisfaction. This presentation is all about how managers make decisions, what good and bad decision processes look like, and how theory connects to what actually happens on the ground. How do managers actually make decisions? Well, they balance data, intuition, and experience. It's not just about numbers. It's about what they know from experience and how they interpret situations. Decisions usually start with identifying a problem, then generating alternatives, choosing a course of action, and implementing it. All of this is influenced by time constraints, available information, and communication within the team. For example, at Highland Pines, we noticed our supply of marshmallows, fire starters, and bug spray kept running out really quickly. This situation prompted a structured approach to figure out how to prevent stockouts instead of just reacting every day. This connects to the rational decision-making model discussed in class. The first step was noticing the problem. Our high demand for supplies were disappearing faster than we could restock them. My objective became clear. We needed to maintain a consistent supply with reducing last-minute orders and waste. This was an operational decision because it was about improving efficiency in day-to-day operations. The challenge, we didn't have a formal inventory tracking or reorder system in place, and we also were going through new management this summer from last summer. Even though our Camp Life system actually has a built-in reorder point feature, we weren't utilizing this because so many things were new. So basically, the system was there, but we just weren't utilizing it. And the foundation of these things were there, but we were under new management, so things were just taking a little longer to process. Speaking of the process and outcomes, so here we have generating and evaluating the options. Once the problem was clear, I looked at three options. Option one, we reorder reactively, order when only ordering when we run out. The pros to this is that there was no extra costs and we kept a familiar routine. The cons were that there were frequent stockouts and inefficiency. For option two, we implemented a reorder point system. The pros, this reduces the stockouts, ensures consistent supply and minimal cost, but the cons, it requires an initial inventory count and tracking effort from all staff. And then the third option was to outsource inventory management. The pros were professional management of the problems and reduces the staff workload inwards. But the cons were higher cost and less control for us personally. After evaluating this, option two made the most sense because it balanced control, efficiency, and feasibility. Basically, it was the smartest and most practical choice. Moving on to the decision process and implementation, what did this process look like? First, I brought the issue to my supervisor and my manager, and suggested that we try to use a reorder point that actually is in the system that we use, Camp Life. There was a reorder point technology that we could use. And I actually learned about the reorder point just in previous classes and previous management classes. So I thought that that would be a really smart thing to just do for the first steps. From this, we were prompted to count all the items physically to understand the baseline of the stock that we had in the store. The reorder point formula that we used, which is just the basic one, was the average daily use multiplied by lead time. Lead time meaning how long it takes for the order to come in when you process that. Once implemented, we saw immediate results, fewer stockouts, timely orders, and consistent supply. This shows how rational decision making combined with bounded rationality, where you make the best decision possible even with limited information, can really improve operations. So, what processes lead to good decisions? Good decisions come from a few key things: using accurate data, collaborating with others for buy in, and following a structured process. At Highland Pines, using the rational model to identify the problem, generate alternatives, evaluate, implement, and monitor helped us improve efficiency and reduce uncertainty. And this is exactly what Professor highlighted in the structured decision making. So, what processes then lead to bad decisions? On the other side, bad decisions usually happen when people rely too much on intuition or habit, just like ordering things when they run out without using tracking usage. Lack of information can lead to inaccurate decisions, and ignoring feedback can reduce the quality of solutions. At Highland Pines, before we implemented the reorder system, we basically relied on guessing, but with that, my manager and my supervisor listened to me as a front desk agent and also my team as we noticed firsthand because we were in front of house what guests were experiencing and what we were losing quickly because we were the ones who were processing all of these payments and were processing these day to day. So it was us who noticed it, but it was management who actually acknowledged that. So then relating to organizational concepts, here's how it's tied to organizational theory. The rational decision-making model gives a logical step-by-step approach, while bounded rationality acknowledges we never have perfect information, but we still aim for the best solution. Like I was saying, collaboration with my supervisor reflects group decision-making, which improve the outcome overall. So even small operational decisions can demonstrate key organizational concepts in practice. And even though the stock issue was kind of a minimal issue, it was super beneficial to go through this and to learn all about this process. So the structure of unstructured decision making, even though inventory management seems operational, it had unstructured elements. No system required teamwork, data, and judgment. According to Mitzberg, unstructured decisions go through three central phases, three supporting routines, and six dynamic factors. At Highland Pines, our process basically followed observe, generate options, evaluate, implement, and monitor. So even operational problems can mirror complex decision frameworks. This diagram, or kind of rough diagram, shows how unstructured decision flow from starting with a trigger through problem structuring, option generation, evaluation and selection, commitment, and implementation and feedback. Supporting routines like gathering data, staff consultation, and record keeping are crucial for this process. For Highland Pines, the stock shortages were the trigger. Identifying the lack of reorder system was the problem structuring, and implementing the reorder point was the solution. Now connecting to the garbage can model of organizational choice. Another concept is the garbage can model, which describes organizational anarchies, situations where preferences are unclear, technology is messy, and participation is fluid. Initially, our inventory management resembled a mini organized anarchy. Problems, solutions, and decision makers were all mixed up. And then implementing the reorder point system organized this garbage can, showing how structured process can clarify even chaotic situations, no matter how big, no matter how small. So, how do senior managers think? Senior managers often focus on process, people, and overarching concerns. They mix intuition and analysis and handle overlapping issues. Even though I was front desk, our inventory decisions reflected this style of thinking, using data, intuition, and team coordination to make efficient, practical decisions. Basically, small operational decisions mirrored senior management cognition. And then going into the reflection, what did I learn? Effective decisions require accurate data, clear objectives, and collaboration. Even small operational improvements reflect strategic thinking as a whole. This process shows learning organization in action, identify problems, propose solutions, and improve continuously. Just this happened at the beginning of the summer, and we monitored and watched it improve continuously over the summer and then refined it in any way that we could. And then the best decisions blend rational analysis with practical experience is probably the biggest thing that I learned from this is to blend rational analysis and intuition as well as teamwork. So like you could see here on these little steps, data plus intuition plus teamwork equals a sound decision and a strong decision. To wrap up, good decisions rely on structure, evidence, and communication, while bad decisions rely on assumptions and ignore teamwork. The Highland Pines example showed these principles in action and what we learned in lecture in action. Even small day-to-day decisions reflect bigger organizational principles, people, processes, and learning.